Have you ever noticed that when you're playing video games, or any game really, that as you go up the levels, things just get tougher? It got me thinking about those kids who get to the Little League World Series. I was watching it on TV a few months ago. I'll bet when they're in their hometown playing against other kids their age, things feel pretty manageable. But as they climb up the levels, moving from playing teams in their town to teams in their state to teams from all different states, things probably get a ton more challenging. Can you think about a situation you've encountered that's like that? A time when things started out easy and got more and more complex as you went along? This is just like the nonfiction texts we're reading. They started out much easier and now they're getting harder. And what's tricky is that they're not just getting harder in one way, but in a lot of ways. Today we're going to study a new way that texts get tricky, through their vocabulary. I want to teach you that as nonfiction texts become more complex, the vocabulary the author uses becomes hard and technical, and the clues that help readers figure out what those words mean are often hidden. When this happens, you have to search for clues all around the word to determine what it might mean. Let's look at a section of the Amazing Octopus text at a bunch of different levels, 2, 4, and 6. We will just zoom in on one small part, studying how the author teaches us what a predator is at different levels. Here's level 2. How does the author teach you what a predator is? The Amazing Octopus has many ways to defend itself. When an octopus wants to move fast, it can shoot out water to push itself backwards. An octopus can travel many miles that way. An octopus can also protect itself by squirting ink. The ink makes the predator, or animal hunting the octopus, become blind and lose its sense of smell for a little while. That gives the octopus a chance to escape. So we can see here that the author teaches us what a predator is by coming right out and saying it. The phrase, or animal hunting the octopus, tells us directly what a predator is. So sometimes the definition will be right there, and we can look around the word, maybe right before it or right after it, to figure it out. Now let's look at level 4. It's still about the octopus, but because this level is a little more advanced, the title is now called An Animal Like No Other. How does the author teach us what a predator is in this text? The octopus has many amazing ways to defend itself from predators. When an octopus wants to move quickly to escape a predator, it can shoot out water out of its siphon and push itself backwards. This is called jet propulsion. Using this technique, octopuses can travel many miles. An octopus can also protect itself by squirting ink at a predator, causing it to become blind and lose its sense of smell temporarily. This makes it difficult for the predator to track the octopus once it has darted away. The octopus can also escape predators by changing its colors like a chameleon to blend into its surroundings. But if a predator does manage to grab an octopus by the arm, the octopus has one more trick up its sleeve. It can break off its arm, swim away, and then grow a new one later. Sometimes the author doesn't come right out and tell the meaning of the word, but instead tucks it into the clues. We've already learned that if we look around a word, we can often figure out what the word means just by noticing the clues the author includes. Take a look at this chart. If we look back at the text and we look around the word, we can start getting clues about the word predator. One way to figure out if the word predator is positive or negative. Predator seems really negative because the author wrote that you have to defend yourself from it, and you don't defend yourself from good things. So thinking about whether the word is positive or negative could help us get the gist of the word. Okay, now let's look at level 6. The same article is now titled Lessons from the Deep. It is 2 levels more difficult than what we just read. How does the author teach us what a predator is? One of the most striking characteristics of the octopus is the wide array of techniques that it uses to avoid or thwart its attackers. When an octopus wants to move quickly to escape a predator, it can expel water from a siphon and push itself backwards, a process called jet propulsion. Using this technique, octopuses can travel many miles. An octopus can also protect itself by squirting ink at its predator, obscuring its view and causing it to lose its sense of smell temporarily. This makes the fleeing octopus difficult to track, and if a predator manages to grab an octopus by the arm, the octopus has one more trick up its sleeve. This escape artist can break off its arm, swim away, and then grow a new one later with no permanent damage. It seems like the author is using different words instead of predator to help us understand what the word predator means. The author says there is a wide array of techniques it uses to avoid or thwart its attackers. So the author just uses much fancier words to describe it. Here's another point to make on our anchor chart. As vocabulary words get more complex, there's often more work in determining the meaning of those tricky words. Sometimes the author might just come out and tell you the definition, but more often you'll have to do some real work to determine the meaning, looking all around the word to get a sense of what it might mean. Okay, as you go off to do your 20 minutes of reading today, you'll encounter some unfamiliar vocabulary words. In your journal, I want you to write down the unfamiliar words and the strategy or technique that you use to decipher its meaning. Find at least 5 vocabulary words to write about. And don't forget to do the other pages of your journal for today. See you tomorrow.